We back at it. We at it again. We at it again for the win. All right, so link was in the description. Link was in the description. All right, so living, dying, all choices. You know, to, to live for tomorrow is to live for a better day. To die is to have a day that you haven't done. All what needs to be like different quotes, stuff like that. It gets to a point where it gets redundant. You start hearing, seeing these different quotes. It's inspirational. To be on top of the mountain is to be great. You know, cruising in time is going on, and that's the thing. When it comes down to that, a lot of inspirational quotes and you know thoughts for the day. Um, Different sayings, all you know, put into play means something for the greater good. Even the jokes that people write and put out is it's on point as well. Wonder what's going on. Tamika, what's going on? I talk about money over here a lot. So getting into that aspect of the money, if you look in the description of the video, I put in there and it was crazy because out of all the things, like even marriage, that kind of struck me too because I was on that path, quite young age, you know, marrying for love. It's the same thing as a lot of people look at for looks. Over time, looks fade. You marry a supermodel, and that supermodel age out of the supermodel game, she doesn't have her same physique. Same thing when it applies to a man. You marry a man for his look, being a muscle builder and all that. Renee, what's going on? But you marry a muscle builder, this man with this awesome body, and over time, it gets that little rock gut. What it we joke about it a lot. What is this? The rapper Gucci Man, and when he was younger, he used to have this little pot belly, and so we used to, laugh and joke, call people the Gucci belly, or as back in the day, people call it the beer gut and everything. But to an extent, everybody looks change. Nobody looks over time. I mean, you can keep up your looks. You can get all the makeup and all the different rejuvenation creams and stuff. Men and women both use. They both want to look at their prime. Men cut off their beards, try to keep a clean shave. You know, but Father Time waits for nobody. But to an extent, marrying for love. You know, what is love in your opinion? That's the thing. What do you define as love? Do your significant other define that as love as well? You know, but to an extent, I've always looked at the point of, respect and everything else always work itself and make itself grown to be. So if I'm marrying for the, point of me having a significant other to be in my life for a long time, Black Money, what's going on? Black Money in the building. If I'm marrying my wife for longevity, of course I'm gonna want someone that looks good. Of course I'm gonna want someone that respects me. That's the biggest thing overall. Because I can like somebody and they old the old songs, liking instead of loving. Which one you needs or you wants. We can go through this all day with different scenarios, different situations. But with me, from my opinion, you know, the love for my wife is steady growing. So that wasn't the whole particular reason why I married her. It was more on the lines of her respect. You know, the garnering the respect with me, the way she loved me, just the same as way I love her. We both respect each other, and that's the biggest aspect of love and marriage: respecting one another. What's going on? Alonzo's in the building. Shout out to the All Star Advisor. Lonzo, we got to do another chop up, man, regarding this life insurance and things, man, because um, I think a lot of people, really are not taking that serious. I talk about it every now and then, but the point, just not really taking it serious as much. Hey, always black money in the building. Hey, kids are the future. That's the number one thing I talk about, man. Kids being the future. Kids being the future. But let me jump back into this real quick. But overall, say the least, when it comes back, around the corner, we have our issues with life, and of course, we gotta break things down. And the main thing I want to talk about with that link in the description from Instagram was mainly about the money. It's saying it's harder to be in debt than it is to be out of debt, because once you get in debt, it's hard for you to come back out. You know, that's why they say it's better to do good instead of doing, bad. Being good is just the same as being evil. It all depends on your choice. The easier the choice is for you, the easier it is, you know, for what you do. But the hard part is the outcome of it. As a good person, sometimes you got to do things that is, pretty much to a degree people don't like. Some would say it might be unprofessional or this and that somewhat, but overall, you're gonna ruffle some feathers either way it go, because of, to the degree a lot of people more or less, they want to be in a position to always be right, always be the winner. When you do good, you want to be rewarded, you want to feel like you've done something, but everybody's not going to give you that same outcome. People are, you know, I can be a good employee by telling my job when someone's doing something wrong, but then the recoil of that, the repercussions of it, my coworker's not gonna like me because I snitched on them if I said something that that they were doing. Same thing as doing it the bad way. That coworker's doing something bad, and the person that did something good by telling on the job. So vice versa, you get to these points. You get to these ways to where in which people, they upset, they bad, but focusing on that money aspect, what the guy was talking about, it's easy for us to go ahead, pay our bills on time, stack a little money, save a little money, $25, $5. If you save $1 a week, that's nothing. But it's $4 at the end of the month. Same thing with $5. It's $20 at the end of the month. Some months you might get an extra weekend. There you go, $25. You got to start somewhere. A lot of people don't want to start the race. That's why they always in last. You know, and we can go with this. You know, our community is poverty stricken and this and that to an extent. Uh, business, business. I always say K Business Podcast, but it's Business Podcast with K. We were having a conversation. Everybody has this opportunity to get the job done. But the problem is everybody wants it handed to them. You know, if you see somebody with $1 million, you would like that $1 million, you would want that $1 million, but you never look on the end which that person did or work hard to get that $1 million. Same thing with people having good jobs. You know, Lonzo, we had sent a texted me about this video, and it was a good, I mean, great video. It's about this guy over the course of so many years was buying different farmland, and one one of the farmland I think he had, or I don't know, to the sum of all of them, might have been to the point of $100 million if they were to sell that land, all the lands that they had, I guess, to the sum of $100 million. And the guy never got to enjoy it, but someone was mad because this guy took the approach of going ahead and, purchasing the land and, you know, doing things with it. What was the problem with that? It was a fair trade. Like this guy sit up there, was smart about his finances, um, went and leveraged the properties that he had, took out loans to go buy more property, and essentially kept paying and was doing good for itself. His business strategy worked, but when it came down to it, what's going on, Brian? His business strategy worked, but when it came down to it, people were mad at him because this guy ultimately made money the legit way, didn't do anything crooked. It was a fair deal. If I offer you something, you can say yes or no. If you think it's worth more, we can negotiate, make a deal or some barter or whatever. But they ultimately, accepted the deal that they offered, and the guy made money off of it. You know, Same thing applies to that, quote with Tupac, where he says, you got a mansion with 10 houses. Do you really need 10 houses when there's people out here starving and this and that? So, with both sides to that argument, because I've talked to homeless people before, a lot of times from my youth all the way to being an adult. A lot of those people made mistakes in life, and even though, they're kind of upset about the mistakes they made, their biggest, gripe was not being able to bounce back, from the decisions that they made. And a lot of people take offense to that, you know. OCD, chick, what's going on? Queena, what's going on? But it's funny how we look at that quote from Tupac and people's kind of mad of a person having a mansion, but that person worked hard. It wasn't like, to a degree, you have some people that are, well off and they're getting inheritance and, they get the family fortune. But then there are some that work hard from, you know. And I seen a documentary after that one talking about the guy who made a RV camping site. So this guy grew up poor. He said all he heard about his mom and father arguing about money all the time. So when he was quite young, elementary school, his parents divorced, dad took him and went on. Mom, she went and started a new life somewhere else. And they didn't even have no money. They were so poor, they were living out of a tire shack storage unit with a sink. So ultimately, when it came down to it, this guy ended up just, roughing it out his whole life as a young kid. He said he didn't even know the difference that, living out of a shack was a thing due to the fact that, hey, that's just how life was for him. You know, when he started hanging around other people, being around friends, talking with them, that's when he knew the difference between rich and poor, and life is not supposed to be this hard or be like this. So, this guy ultimately got into a situation to where he changed his life for the better. He started doing little jobs and trying to make them better, trying to make every time as he got older, as he became a teenager, as he became an adult. Granted, it's the same guy that stayed in that shelter, in that shed in the back of a gas station. Actually, it was a tire shop at that, not even a gas station, a tire shop. But ultimately, him and his dad worked their way up. He was doing little side jobs along the way. Got to a point when he became an adult. He started running and making a little business for RVs and things. Made an app in his later years. sold that out, $30 million. Like it's like unimaginable. But to a degree, this guy came from nothing. Now he has so much money, and he's still doing more business. Quite humble, and people look at that like, man, he shouldn't have all that money. That guy worked hard. He came from nothing, you know, and it's to a degree of being shamed and being looked down upon because you did the right thing. You sacrificed. You know, you cut back on your spending. You didn't, just wild out with your spending. You were sitting here being, responsible. And people shame people for this. You know, if I was in a position to, help a family member and I don't want to, oh man, why you couldn't do this? Shay Love in the building, what's going on? Why you couldn't help your cousin? You know, and we went through situations. A lot of times, family would get on you for not being there for other family members. You know, and it gets to a point where it gets old. You've helped them before, and they get caught back in the same situation, or they're not even appreciative of the love that you do give them. So it's like you're in a bad situation, either way it go, because you're the responsible one. You do things right. Prime example. One of my friends, he was talking to his brother, and he told me he's like his brother just told him if he would have listened to him back in the day, his life would be a whole lot better. Brother told him back in the day, man, yeah, so true. People like spending other people's money. It's to a point where it's so crazy. But my friend brother, he was like, man, if I would have listened to you back in the day, I would be farther along in life than I am now. I done had to retrace my steps on a lot of this stuff where I could have been at another level in my life. I could have been doing more for myself, but I'm not because of this. I'm not doing better in my life. Lisa, what's going on? Ricky in the building, always, Ricky. Hey, like I always say, Ricky, we been here. We been here. What's going on, Ricky? But this guy, he just took the wrong path. Like went to jail. All the stuff that his brother was telling him. He literally went up to the pretty much at a height right now. He has a lot of business. He has like several business. He has several houses, real estate going for itself. He was trying to put his youngest brother in position to get all this. His other two brothers that was around his age, they wouldn't listen, you know, uh, to the degree they was to the streets, and they wanted to live a life that they, just thought was fun. He tried to save his younger brother and tell him, like, man, look, this is the path you need to do. This is what type of skill. You don't even have to go to college. Go get this trade right here. Go get this certificate, and I can get you a job with me in IT. He's like, man, this is so easy. Didn't want to do it. Didn't want to take that path. This guy is like mid 30s. Now he wants to take the path of righteousness and do the right thing, but his past constantly haunts him about things like this because, you know, and even to a degree, my guy, his sister kind of got mad at him. Well, when you didn't have no money and you was, going into this situation, I was, helping you out here and there. I think you should take care of me now. I ain't got no money and my life messed up and my life ain't together. He said, okay, put her in a situation, got her staying at a home, gave her some money. He ended up saying, all you have to do, once again, do this, take this path, everything will be okay. You know what happened? She took the other path, didn't want to save none of her money. He said, save some of your money. I'll pay the bills. All I want you to do is continue doing what you're supposed to do. Everybody in the building. Hope everybody got their wrenches. Check out each other channels. I forgot. I'm always, bad about this being a YouTuber. Hit the like. You know, share. You share. You already sub because you already here. We here. But at the same time, though, check out other people's channel. This is a brief, moment in time. Check out other people's channel. Make sure, okay, got my mic. Okay. Check out other people's channel and make sure, you just look at the channels. Pretty much everybody in this chat, you know, everybody comes to the channel pretty much has great content, great content. Everybody from the top all the way from Black Money, Alonzo, Wanda, especially Wanda, great content with finance. Everybody on here, the gardening channels, every day in the life of OCD chick, just everybody here has great content. Lisa, it says it in her name with stocks. Everybody. Ricky with boxing, great channels. Just go on over there. Shay Love with motivation, inspiration. You know, everybody has great content. Check out each other's channels. But overall, saying the least, like she didn't want to listen to the point where she lost a lot of, stuff that he gave her or put her in place to do. And then she wanted it all back on the premise that you got money. Why can't you do this for me? You know, it comes down to a point where when you do so much for yourself, people are just weary. Like, why did you have so much money? Because I sacrificed, I saved, I invested, And then when you try to teach people something like this, they don't want to hear it. They get more or less mad because they want to make sure I want to be in a position that's better than you or at your level. But you don't want the shooting in the gym thing. The lyric from who was it? Rick Ross. She wasn't with me shooting in the gym. A lot of people don't want to come to practice. A lot of people don't want to put in the work to be great. That was the only reason why that lyric hit so hard because Kobe was great. But going back into it from his wife aspect, while he was in the gym, his wife was taking care of the kids. While he was in the gym, his wife was doing all the other things he couldn't do when he was ultimately running into basketball. So she might not have been in the gym, but she was still by his side. That's why I don't understand. Like, when you sit here and let other people try to influence your decisions, your life, and they don't even know the sacrifices that both you and your significant other made, honestly, you can't give me no advice, no opinion, because there is no fact that can help me with my decision. Kobe wasn't leaving. Kobe knew he was wrong. And it was right for Vanessa to, get money, whatever she wanted from him. I don't understand. Just because you do something wrong, you think there's no consequences behind your actions? Hey, for showers, how you doing? How you doing, Auntie? And when it comes down to this point, that's why I don't get what a lot of guys in these situations. I don't even want to go into that because the gender topic it gets a little touchy, you know, especially with my opinion, because it's not to the point where a lot of men like the favor of the way I break it down because like I've been over in spaces and talk with guys and their level of thinking it's up and down to me, you know. What's going on, AO Roost? I'm over here giving a little philosophy right now. You might want to stick around for this. But when it comes down to it, it's crazy. I did all the work, you know. I saved my money. I talk about life every time I tell people on this channel. I'm just scratching the surface with basic information. It's not like I'm sitting here trying to give, you know, information that can be guided, that a lot of people can get into it. Praying couple, what's going on? Check out the day on that food that y'all got in the pot that's stirring. Oh, I'm ahead. Today Tuesday. I thought today was Wednesday. I'm ahead of day. But shout out to you in the building. But done so much. You know, the scratching the surface when it comes to the money aspect of which I'm talking about. The stuff I'm learning, stuff I'm growing with, you know, I'm steady watching Alonzo's videos, seeing how I can tweak my policies and make them better. To see, do I need to add another policy? You know, Probably need to up my money a little more. That means I got to make more money to invest more into my policies. You know, I was talking to my wife about my sons and their policies. I told her, I said, when it comes down to it, I'm gonna make them start doing more work so I can, invest in their policies as well. You know, business talk with K. I butchered your name earlier, K. You know, the business podcast with K. K. I got to get it together. But like I said, we was talking about this yesterday. A lot of people want stuff free, want it done, don't want to do the work when it comes down to it overall. When I talk about all this stuff about, you know, budgeting, getting life insurance, this is scratching the surface bare minimum. I'm trying to put in the work right now to receive a bigger reward later. Hopefully I could be that one that people love to hate, you know. Hopefully I could be that one that people love to hate. Like, oh, Rashid has so much money. Why he has so much money? Why can't he give me a loan? Or why can't he just give me a gift and I don't have to give it back because I've been his loyal friend for years and I've been this and that way. Oh yeah, I gotta stop by the bank, grab some money too. Gotta go pay some people. But overall, like when it comes down to it, man, it's like why all the time? Like I said, check out everybody's channel. Hey, great channels. Kate, drop your link. And everybody can drop their link, but mainly, especially, I wanted Kay to drop his link because he has a new channel that he wants to, promote. I never have a problem with anybody dropping a link. You don't have to ask me. I always tell you this is not disrespectful to me. Promote your channels. That's what we here is for, to let people, come in, you know, get your channels to grow. Everybody's giving out good information. Why can't you? But overall, like I say, basic information that I'm giving. I'm not, you know, giving nothing that's pretty much is bad. I'm coming back. Ah, I forgot to go to the bank. Oh, okay. You don't have the what's called. Checking and making sure you have a wrench for this channel. But the thing of it is, man, when it comes down to it, all right, Lonzo got you. But the crazy part, man, when it comes down to it, it just amazes me how if you do everything right, you're frowned upon. You know, just like if you look at a lot of people go in the description of the video, damn, I forgot I got money in my pocket. I don't have to go to the bank. Tripping. I was just about to pull out some money. I forgot I pulled out 200 yesterday. But the crazy part is this. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm talking to myself. But the crazy part is that, man, when it comes down to it, a lot of people just sit here and get mad over stuff they didn't accomplish, you know. And the crazy part, you can do it. It's easy. If you look at that Instagram post, it talks about people being married. It talks about your finance. It's in the description of the video. You can go now, listen to it, come right back. It's up to you. You know, the crazy part, a lot of people think it's so hard to, keep your finances in order, pay your bills. You know how much you get paid every day? I mean, every week. Rationalize your money. I know I get paid, this day, I'm going to pay this bill. I know I get paid this day, I'm going to pay that bill. Or better yet, my cousin, he has this whole system to where he pays his bills from the first to the fifth. Mortgage, everything gets paid at the beginning of the month. I said, well, how do you calculate your bills to the point where you're not overspending during the week? I give myself an allowance of how much money I need to spend, and I stick to that allowance. Anything that goes over the budget of allowance, I already have it budgeted in through that budget. I said, dang, that's crazy. So I said, what about something that's an excessive spend or an impulse buy? He said, well, I don't have it in my savings, then that impulse buy can't be a thing. You know, I say, let's say you get some on a deal, then that's what credit cards are for. I use my credit card, I pay it down every month. I said, man, so you got all this stuff planned out. Everything's to a T. Every time he gets a raise, and this is what I learned from my cousin as well. Every time he gets a raise, and most people are like, man, I'm gonna start saving this. No, every time he gets a raise, everything is still the same. He don't add that raise up into his pay. Whatever that raise come in, he calculates that amount. That goes into a separate account. Separate account. It won't even touch. It won't even touch his main account. His main account he has strictly from his check. Now it's split three ways. At first, when he gets his let's say he starts a job, he's making $10 an hour or something like that. End of the week he makes $500. He takes a percentage out of that check, goes into his savings or into a separate checking account, and some in his savings, and then his main checking account where he has his bill money. I said okay. Then he says, when I get a raise, I take that money and put it in another separate account for it either be my savings for my secondary checking account where I get a percentage out for that one to where I won't even see the money. So he said if I make $500, I get a raise and I get 150 extra a week. I take that extra 150, push it to the side, put it over there in that account. Won't touch it. And that's always, kind of a thing that I struggle with getting my budget together. And the more I talk to him, he kind of puts me in the mind frame of, okay, well, this can be done because he's doing it. Why can't I do it? You know, my cousin, same thing with his aunt. For those that come on my channel a lot, y'all know I talk about my aunt going to school for business and communication. She taught him pretty much everything about this finance, dealing with purpose, saving your money. She owns several business. He has owned several business, and it all came and developed from the business mindset, the likeness of getting things done, this and that. So when it comes down to him actually saving money, I'm getting all this stuff from him. I didn't get this stuff when I was young, so at a later on in life, at an age to where I started taking finance serious, I started learning more about things. That's when I started getting to the aspect of I need to be a little bit more knowledgeable about this. I started doing research, started learning about debt, started learning about credit. A lot of times people don't know. A lot of times you go to these credit cleaning, so-called credit repair, they wipe everything off your credit. It's a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because you ain't got nothing on there. It's a restart, but it's a bad thing you ain't got no history. History builds credit. Negative things on your credit, get that negative stuff removed versus trying to wipe everything clean in a slate and start over. I had to learn this along the way. Paying your bills on time. Don't have any late fees. It costs you money. You sit there and have a late charge. That's a charge to you. Especially thing with an overdraft. Why are you paying extra money on overdraft? Late charges with paying your utilities and things. Why are you paying these late charges when you don't have to? It goes back into the budgeting aspect of budgeting, making everything be according to the point that, hey, I don't have no problems. You know, a lot of times we look at a lot of inspiration that can help us. We also look at inspiration that can hurt us as well. And the inspiration that can hurt us comes from us not even, you know, doing the first initial step, and that's taking care of you. You know, I always talk about this so much, about us, getting our money together and doing this and that. But the main aspect, taking care of yourself, you know, have a budget, stick to it, make sure you plan things out, govern yourself accordingly. With that being said, I'm about to get ready to jump off of here. Help yourself be the best you can be. You know, don't be ashamed because you're doing things the right way. Help when needed. I don't feel sorry if I'm not helping anybody because if I'm trying to help you and you can't help yourself, what's it to me? I only can help those who can help themselves. If I'm doing more helping than you, that says a lot about you. Keep yourself together, man. And overall, you got to have some type of patience. You got to endure the storm. Everybody goes through the storms. You can be a millionaire and still go through the storm. I was looking at Social Proof podcast. This guy became a millionaire 3 times. Lost all his money, got it back. Lost all his money, got it back again. It can be done. But overall, it takes time. A lot of times, we're in situations to where we feel like nobody has our back. That goes back into that applied selfishness. When nobody has your back, guess who has your back overall? You. You should be your number one supporter. If you feel like nobody got your back, you need to talk to yourself and be your cheerleader for yourself. You need to be the biggest supporter for you. So many times we sit here and look at other people and how they run things. Why not emulate it if it's a good thing? There's a pastor, Pastor Barner from the Barner Brothers. I watch his service. I can't think of the name of his ministry because they it used to be. I guess if you can go and look it up, uh, what is it called? Mountain. I know they used to be under Air Jesus, but they end up changing the name. Um, but the uh, what is it? Mountain something. I can't think of the name right now. If I find out, I share it in my community tab. But they have a lot of different Bible sermons and talks, inspiration. If anybody just don't want to go that route of religion, but still it's inspiring. And one of the things he said his father did when people would tell him that this is what you should have your kids doing. One time a guy told him, well, I don't have my kids watching much TV. I don't have my kids doing this and that. And he was like, okay, where are your kids? Let me see your kids. How are your kids now? The guy told him, one of my sons is a doctor. My other son is a lawyer. And my daughter, I think she was no, was the daughter, I believe, was the doctor. And the son was a lawyer, and the other son was like a professor. Seen how his kids were, came home, implemented that for his kids. You know, proof is in the pudding. If you show me, something and it's proven to be successful and be right, why not, copy that same thing? If I want to be strong and I want to be, ripped and so-called buff, and someone come to me with muscles and tells me this, I'm gonna look into it. Even if somebody comes to me with no muscles, ripped, nothing, if you show me something and I can see that it works and is proven, I'm gonna follow that same system. Because sometimes when people don't see the vision, they just can't see themselves doing it. But once you get into the aspect of, understanding, hey, the proof is in the pudding. If you're telling me something, let me go and see what you're talking about and researching. I do a lot of this with documentaries, YouTube, searching on Google searches, finding information the best way I can and implementing it. But with that being said, shout out to everybody that came through. You know what I always say? We here and we gone.